Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How are you, everybody? I hope all of you are having a good time and enjoying your time with your families and so on. And I hope all of you are in good health. I'm very happy to resume my classes, uh, especially this time where everybody is sitting at home doing nothing. We better enjoy our time and doing something good. So for this class, inshallah, the class of SKR 3309 network protocols, we have already done our mid-semester exam and midterm exam, and also we have finished a lot of topics before this. And for today, we are going to take the internet control message protocol. Actually, this protocol is very simple, very easy, and at the same time, it's very useful. Uh, this protocol actually is not to be used for exchanging data between hosts. Okay, so from its name, it's very clear that this protocol is used for exchanging control messages. So here, every two network devices can exchange internet control messages using the ICMP protocol in order to check the connectivity availability of the destination. So after this class, inshallah, you will be able to describe some of the processes to which ICMP is applied. So why we need to apply the ICMP. And the other thing is to identify the common type and code values used in ICMP protocol. The third thing is to explain the function of ICMP in the Bing and the Traceroute application. Actually, these two are the very important applications or commands that's used for checking the availability and checking the connectivity of the destination. Okay, let us see now how the ICMP works. Actually, the ICMP is very simple. It's based on the concept of what they call it the request and reply. So the destination or the source of the packet should send a request to the destination, then the destination should reply by its own reply. So some people they call it ping pong protocol that sends something and returns, gets in return another thing. Some people they call it echo and reply. Some people they call it echo response and echo reply. So all of these names are the same thing, reflecting the behavior of the ICMP. So ICMP messages are used to support multiple operations, including routing, diagnostics, and errors. So it's all about checking the availability and doing diagnosis about the checking the availability and the accessibility of the network device. ICMP for routing. So here, if let's say we have send a an ICMP request from the host A. For this example here, as we can see, in this example, the host A wants to send the data or to exchange data to the server A, for example. Then this packet, this host doesn't know that this server is connected behind this router, so it wrongly sends or forwards the ICMP request to this gateway, which is already used here. Is already configured at the host A to be the default gateway for this device. So the packet is transmitted here, and when it reaches here, this router knows that the server A is connected behind the router, the other router here. So it's suggested to send a redirect ICMP packet to the host A to change the destination of the packet to be directed to the router, the other router connected through connecting the server A. So in this case, the ICMP redirect packet will be sent. So one of the main functions that's used or that's provided by the ICMP is the help of routing or rerouting the traffic from a place to another. The other thing is to use the ICMP for diagnostics. So here there's two separate messages are used for the request and reply. So if let's say we want to check the connectivity between host A and the server, then we have to ping the server IP address. So using the ping command, we'll send the packet or echo request to the server, then the server have to reply with an echo reply to the host A. So commonly associated with the ping application. This function is used through the main command ping, which is related to the ping application to check the connectivity and the availability or the accessibility to a certain destination. So here, in order to make this understandable, so we will try to check how our this PC, my PC, is connected to my Wi-Fi at home. So let us use this command ipconfig to check or to list down all of the connected network interfaces to my laptop here. So as we can see here, there are a lot of network cards. The first one is a virtual. This is due to the installation of the virtual box actually, and the other one is also used by the virtual box. So this the first and second interfaces are virtual interfaces. Then also we have LAN adapter local connection 1 and 2, which is not in use. Maybe the first one is this one is the LAN, which is the wired network card, network interface card, and the other one is maybe the Bluetooth. The third one is my Wi-Fi card. So here we can see that my IP address is 192.168.0.135. And my default gateway, as you can see here, the default gateway actually is my Wi-Fi router. So my Wi-Fi router uses the 192.168.0.1 IP address. And also through my mobile phone, which is also connected through the same Wi-Fi network. Let us check my mobile phone IP address. My mobile phone IP address is 192.168.0.167. So maybe if you need to write it, I will repeat the things. My laptop ID is 192.168.0.135, and my mobile ID is 192.168.0.167, and my gateway ID is 192.168.0.1. Actually, I wrote this here to make it easy for you to understand how it works, because we are going to use this now using the ping command, and also later we will see how to use them in order to do diagnosis through our network, or maybe through the other networks that we are using to connect to the internet using the Traceroute command. So for first thing, we need to check at first, we need to check the connectivity between our between my laptop here and the gateway, my Wi-Fi router. So here we just need to do ping like this, 192.168.0.1, which is to ping my Wi-Fi router. And here, as we can see, the connectivity is available, and the time needed to travel from my laptop to the router and back to my laptop is almost varying between 2 and 1 milliseconds. And as we can see here, the time to leave is 64. 64 actually is the initial value for the TTL. You have to remember this. The initial value, I will write it here. Initial value for the time to leave. This one is time to leave. Time to leave TTL is 64. Is 64. Okay. Later I will explain what is this. So now, as we can see here, the reply is coming from this IP address, and the time needed is uh, varying between 2 and 1 milliseconds. Then the time to leave is 64. 64 has a meaning. When we have the response or the reply like this with the value 64 for the TTL, that means our device or our laptop is connected directly to the router. It has no intermediate nodes between my laptop and my router. That's why the default value is returned as a 64. Okay, let us now check with my mobile phone. So if I ping my mobile phone IP address, which is 192.168.0, as I mentioned here, it's 1167. Then here we can see the result. Yeah, it's a little bit different, as you can see here. Response here, the reply here is coming from my mobile phone IP address, and also we can see the time here. The time taken is very long at the beginning. At the first time is 2,950 milliseconds, and the second try is 6 milliseconds. The third try is 243, and the fourth try is 62 milliseconds, while the TTL is 64. When we receive the TTL as a 64, that means we are bringing a device that's connected to the same network using the same router. Otherwise, the TTL will be less than 64. If let's say we are bringing, for example, the TM DNS maybe, or the TM gateway, or maybe the Google DNS, or maybe Microsoft DNS or something like this, then we will receive a number of TTL less than the 64, maybe by 10, by 12, or something like that, and later we will check. Okay, I hope this is clear. Another thing, we can bring other IP addresses that's located outside or maybe located on the cloud. For example, if we try to bring this IP address, which is the Google DNS, then we can see here the result may be different. So here the reply is coming from this IP address, and the time taken is 5 milliseconds here. The first try, the second try is 5 milliseconds, the third try is 6 milliseconds, fourth try is 7 milliseconds, and we can see here the time to leave is 58. If we get the difference between the 64 and the 58, then here what we can see, 64 minus 58 is 6 nodes. This means we have 6 routers at the middle between my laptop and the DNS network. Sorry, the Google DNS IP address, or this device, this machine. So we have here 6 nodes in between. So maybe let me explain this. So maybe this is my laptop here connected to my Wi-Fi, then connected maybe to the TM router, then maybe to another router, then other router here, other router there, then this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then maybe other router here, then after that, what they call it, 8, 8, 8, 8, which is the, what they call it, I don't know why it isn't, yeah, here, so, okay, this one can be, and here we can see that the first time we send this router, the ping from this machine, from this laptop, the TTL will be 64. Will be 64. 64. Then here at the second router, it will become 63. So every router will minus one and transfer the data to the next router or to the next hop. So here we will see 61, and here we have 60, then 59, then 58. That's why we have received the TTL as a 58 from this router or from this device. Okay, so as you can understand now, we already know how many nodes between our laptop here, my laptop, to be connected to the Google Teams. Later we will see. Now I will record that we have 6 nodes. Okay, don't forget this, because later we are going to use this number to remind ourselves what was going on. So here between my laptop and the Google DNS is 6 nodes. Okay. We can see here also that the time when we connect to the near devices, like what happened when we try to bring our Wi-Fi router, we got the round trip time is almost 2 milliseconds, because the router, my Wi-Fi router is very near, and the journey takes very short time. But when we try to access my mobile device, which is located in different places at my home, through the Wi-Fi network, we can see that the Wi-Fi tries a lot to find the wireless device. That's why the first time it spends a lot of time, like what we can see here is 2950 milliseconds, then it becomes 6 milli, then here we can see 243. Actually, this can be varied, depends on the Wi-Fi quality. So if, let's say, in my house we have a lot of walls, maybe, or doors or something like that, then the connectivity may be reduced. The quality of the connection can be reduced. So if the quality reduced, then we can see very high time compared to the connectivity with very clear line of sight to the router. Here, when we try to connect to the when we try to test the connectivity to the DNS of the Google, then we see that the time is almost 5 milliseconds, 6 milliseconds, 7 milliseconds. Why this one is shorter than the time that we have received when we try to connect to my mobile, which is connected over the wireless, because the wireless is half duplex, and it has a lot of fading of the signal. It has a lot of loss, and also it can have maybe other networks nearby, maybe from the neighborhood here, affecting my wireless network performance. That's why we can see the delay is very high. But when we connect or we try to build the DNS of the Google, then that will be going through the wire network, which will take that's all about the bin. So as I mentioned, the bin command is very easy. If let's say we have two devices, no matter how they are connected, if let's say they are connected through the cloud, then the bin command will send a message here, then the destination will receive that message and reply by another message. If this message arrives here, then the reply arrives to the source, then we consider that this connection is already there. But if let's say this message is lost, or maybe the reply is lost, then there will be no connectivity between these two devices. Okay. Okay, let's go with the other things, with the other slides. Let us proceed with this. So the next slide is to show the ICMP errors. So if let's say we try to test the connectivity between host A and the server, then if let's say there's something wrong at the middle here at the second router here, so if let's say we send the bin command from this host A to the server, then the first router, it transferred the data or retransmitted the data to the next router, then this router cannot find the server, then the error message will be sent back to the source. So here, packet forwarding will be in this direction. Then if let's say this server is not reachable, maybe the server is shut down for some reason, or maybe the network is already down or something like this, then this router should have the destination and reachable message generated from here, then will be transmitted to the host A to tell the host A that this destination is unreachable. So notifies this error message actually is one type of the ICMP messages that's used to notify the packet source of problems with packet forwarding. So if there is any problem, if let's say this router cannot connect to this router, then this router should reply by the destination and reachable message to the host. This error message also is uses the source IP address in the IP header for notification. So if let's say we send a ping message from here to here, then the ping will carry the source IP and the destination IP. So if any fail happen at the middle here, then if let's say the fail happen here, or maybe this server is unreachable by this router, then this router will use the source IP address of this device to send or to direct the error packet to. So the reply will use that source IP addresses. That's the source IP address that is carried by the ping message, the original ping message. Okay, here is the ICMP format. As you can see here, the ICMP format actually is one application that using the ID based on IP address, and also ICMP actually is based on the what they call it, based on the TCP, because here we have to guarantee that the packet is delivered and the reply is reaching the source. So that's why we cannot use UDP. That's why ICMP is based on TCP and based on IP as well. So here we can see the header will include the Icmp header. Then after that, we will have the IP address header. Then after that, we may have the ICMP header. So the ICMP header have 32-bit length. So here we can see the first octet is for the type, and the second octet is for the code, and also the third thing is the checksum. Then after that, we have the variable parameters dependent on ICMP type field. So this can be actually variable. These parameters can be used differently, depends on the destination, depends on the targeting application and so on. And also we have what they call it internet header plus 64 bits of original data datagram, depends on ICMP type field. So ICMP parameters are represented in a type code format. So here we can see we have a type and code. So if let's say the type is, if the message is request, then the type will be request. If the message is reply, then the type will be reply. And also for every type we have a code. Okay. So the only important things here that we have to remember always is the type and the code, and also the checksum is to guarantee that type and the code are correct. And from here we can understand that this ICMP is using the what they call it the basic IP header. Why? Because the ICMP actually is a part of it. That's why they use the default header. And here for the next slide, we can see the available types and codes that's used in the type and code fields. So here we can see 0 type, 0 code means equal reply. If the type is 3 and the code is 0 means network and reachable. If the type is 3 and the code is 1 means host is unreachable. There is difference between the network and the host. So maybe the network is reachable, but the host is not reachable. Maybe if we go back to this slide, maybe the network that's connected, used to connect this server is already there. So it's already up and reachable. But the server itself or the host itself is not reachable. That's why here in this case we will receive 3 and 1. That means the host is unreachable, but the network is reachable. But in some cases, the network at all is unaccessible or unreachable. In that case, we will receive 3 and 0. And also here, 3 and 2. If we receive 2, that means the protocol is unreachable. So that means the fail is at the level of the protocol. And if the maybe if let's say the other side they have for example a firewall that blocks the ping from going through the network, then maybe we will have the port unreachable, which is 3 and 3. And also here we have another code which is 5 and 0. This is used for redirect datagram for the network. This is exactly what we have seen here in this example. If we send the ICMP redirect, the code will be 5 and 0. And also we have the last code, which is 8 and 0. This means the echo request. That's all about the type and code. Actually, the ICMP is very basic, very easy, very simple to understand. Doesn't need a lot of things to be done. Okay, let us now go to the ICMP applications. As I mentioned, the first application is the Bing, and the second application is the ICMP. The Bing is already explained. I already explained the Bing command, how it works. But as you can see here, we have a lot of parameters that we can use with the Bing command. Depends on the operating system. So here I'm using Windows 10. I hope that all parameters can work with it. So here normally we use Bing command with the destination IP address like this. So this will give us 4 tries. 4 tries. That means 4 request packets will be sent from my laptop to the Google DNS. Then 4 replies will be sent from the Google DNS to my laptop. And here for every try we will see the round trip time recorded here. So for example, the first time is 8, the second time is 8, the third is 7, the fourth is 8 milliseconds, and we can see here that TTL is the same. Why? Because we are still using the same path. But if the path changes, for example, if let's say we send our Bing command, Bing packets, Bing requests, the first and second using certain path, then for some reason the path has a failure, then some routers changes to another path, so maybe we can see that TTL is different in the third and fourth tries. So it can be different. It's not necessary to be the same. But in most cases, it will be the same, especially if the networks are very stable. But if the network, for example, if we are driving a car and using the ping command, maybe our mobile phone or mobile device is changing the connectivity from tower to another tower, so maybe the PA can be different. This is another scenario. Okay, so in the first case here, normally we uses our IP address by default to be the source IP, and the IP address that we used for the ping command to be used as a destination IP address. But if let's say we want to change the source IP address to use different IP address, for example, I'm not sure whether this one is working in on Windows here or not, but let us try. On Linux, it's 100% working, but on Windows, I'm not sure, honestly. So here, if let's say we use this, let's say we want to change the source IP address to use my Wi-Fi router. So here 168.0.1 to ping this destination. Let us see, add parameters. So it doesn't work. But this is to tell the ping application that the source IP address is this and the destination is this. Or maybe this one doesn't work because we cannot do like this. Actually the things is not proper to use this command, this parameter. If for example we have another IP address, let us see whether we can use another IP address or not. Still using the Linux command. Yeah. Here we have this IP address. Maybe we can change the link from this IP address to the Google DNS. So let us use this, or maybe this one is easier to remember, 56.1. So here, link -a 192.168.56.1 to 80888, like this. It doesn't work. So it seems that this parameter, I remember that some parameters are not working on the Windows, or maybe I'm not sure. As I mentioned, let's see the tell command. That others too, those things. You see the meaning of the option is totally different here. So it depends on the operating system, as I mentioned here. If let's say we uses this, then we can see that it can work as default. But if we uses this one -a like this, then we can see here there's some difference here between this result and that result. This result has the name of the DNS server of the Google. It's dns.google, and here we cannot see it. So here we want to see the names of the destination. So the meaning of the parameter is depends on the operating system and depends on the implementation of the ping application. And also here we have the -c. It's easy to understand. Actually, I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining the parameters that can vary from operating system to another, but it's easy to understand. You just read it from here. So -t means ping the specified host until stopped. So if let's say we want to ping something, for example, -t 8888, so we can see that this command is never going to stop. Why? Because we told the ping application to do ping forever until something wrong happens. Okay? So in this case, if we want to cut the ping command, we can click Control and C to cut it, to stop the or to interrupt the application. This is the -t. -a is to resolve the name, and -n it can show you the number of equal requests to send. So if let's say if you want to change, instead of sending four messages by default, as I mentioned, here the default command sends 4 messages. If let's say we want to send only 2, so in this case we can see -C2 like this, then we send access denied. I don't know why access denied -C. Maybe I use it wrongly. So here we have to use -n in the count, -l with the size, -I with the TTL. So if let's say we want to change the default TTL here, the default value is 64 actually. If let's say we want to make it 10 only, or 3 or 5, we can use the -I, as we can see here. But I don't know why this one doesn't work. So maybe it's once of there is some things here. This is the -n. So we use it, the command correctly here. You see here in the Windows, instead of -a, they use -S to change the source address. So let us see here. This one doesn't work. So if let's say we want to change the -I for the TTL, then we make it 5. You see, expires in transit. Why expired in transit? Because we have 6 hops along the way from the source to the destination. So using the number 5 for the TTL is wrong, is not enough. So what if we use 6 here? 6. Because using 5 will make the packet expiring before reaching the destination. So the node that has the TTL expired will send a message to the source to tell that the packet is already expired during the transmission, during the transit. Okay, so let us use 6. 6 is also not enough. So maybe we have to make it 7. So using the number 7, it will guarantee that the packet is reaching the destination here, and we can see TTL is 58. Okay, so you can go through the command. If let's say you are using the Linux, you can use the bin command like this. Then you can hit enter, or maybe you can write the question mark after that. It depends on the operating system. But in Windows here, you easily write ping and hit enter to show the help, to display the help of the command. Then we can see, we can read all the parameters here that we can use for anything. That's all about the bin command. Okay, CLS. Now to clean the things. Let us go to the next slide here. So here we already explained this. So it depends on the operating system again, as I mentioned. So in Linux we can see 5 messages sent by default, but in Windows they send only 4 messages. Then here we can see if the network is very loosey, then we can see the packet loss here at the summary. Okay, so maybe we try again here to ping 888 again to see the summary. Maybe I need to explain to you the summary. So packet sent are 4, received are 4, loss is 0, and approximate round trip time in milliseconds is 6. Minimum is 6, maximum is 12, and the average is 8. Okay, again, it depends on the operating system. So maybe you can see some things on Windows that you cannot see on Linux, and vice versa. Okay. Next, we have the Traceroute. Traceroute actually is depends on the operating system. So if you are using the Linux, the command will be like this: traceroute But if you are using Windows, the command will be like this. Like this. Okay, so don't mess with the things. Why they use the trace route here? Actually, because the WoW devices are based on Linux, as I mentioned before. That's why the command is traceroute. You cannot use the trace RT as we use on the Windows. Why? Because the operating system is the one that can decide how the command looks like. Okay, so even here for the bring command, we have to remember all of this because this is the only options that we can use over the Huawei device, unless the ERP application is changed. Maybe if let's say we are using different version, so maybe the parameters can be changed. Okay, let us go to the traceroute. Traceroute actually is a very basic application, but this application is very important and highly used. If let's say we have this router or this PC here connected through this router, the other router, third router to the destination. Maybe this one is our server here. So maybe this is the cloud here. Okay, so this is the connection here, here, and here. So if let's say we use the traceroute command from here to here, the first thing a packet will be sent using TTL equal to 1 equal to 1. Then the packet will expire, the TTL will expire here, then this router should reply with an error message to tell the source of the traceroute command that the packet cannot go further. Then the message will be sent like this. Then this PC will have the IP address of the first router or the first hop that's connected along the path of the to the server. Then the second message will be sent using TTL equal to 2. So the TTL will expire here. Then this router will send an error message to this PC. So the PC will have the IP address of this router and also the IP address of this router. And we know that the IP address of the first router is this and the IP address of the second router is that, and so on. Then another message will be sent to the next hop with TTL equal to 3. Then the message will expire here. This router also need to send an error message to the PC. So the PC will have the 3 IP addresses of the used routers along the path to the destination. Then after that, another message will be sent to the next hop using the TTL equal to 4. So in this case, the packet will be received to the destination, will be reaching the destination, then the destination should reply with its own IP address. So this machine, this PC will have a list of 4 IP addresses here, and every IP address will have a time or round trip time in front of it to know how far is that node from the source. How far is this node from the source? So definitely the first node should be nearer to the source, and the second is further than the first one, and the third is much far than the second one, and so on. So here we can see every ID will have some round trip times in front of the drive. So why we use this command actually is to do network analysis, to know how is the connectivity between source any source and destination. Then we can test our routers, how they are working. Are we using the correct paths or wrong paths, and so on. So let us go and use here. If let's say we want to use the trace RT from my PC to my router, which is directly connected over Wi-Fi. So here we can see that we have only one router, only one router. And here we can see the name, it's D-Link router, D-Link router, which is the name of the used for this host, which is my Wi-Fi router. Here we can see that the number of nodes is only one, and what they call it, the round trip time, because for every node there will be 3 tries. The packet will be sent 3 times, 3 requests for every router, for every node. 3 requests for this, for the first one, 3 requests for the second, 3 requests for the third, until the end. So here we have only one hop, then we see one record here. We will have 3 times in front. So we have 1 millisecond, 2 millisecond, 1 millisecond. That means it's around maybe 1.5 millisecond to reach the router. What if we trace my mobile device, my mobile phone, which is 167, as I mentioned here, don't forget, as I mentioned here, my mobile device, my mobile phone is 192.168.0.167. So let us see here, 167. Let us try and see how is the result. So it may take time. We'll try it here. The first is received, the second is received, but the third may be lost. Why? Because, sorry, the first is received, third is received, and second is received, and third is received, and this is the IP address. Why is only one record? Because we are still on the same domain. We're still on the same broadcast domain, and the Wi-Fi is based on the broadcast. That's why we don't have any intermediate node at the middle between my mobile device or my mobile phone and my laptop. So it will show only one record. What if we trace RT, the Google DNS? So in this case, we will see the number of rows depends on how many intermediate nodes we have between my laptop and the Google DNS. Here, as don't forget, we already recorded this between my laptop and the Google DNS. There are 6 nodes. So let us check that correctly. Yes. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then number 7 is the destination. Number 7 is the destination. Understood? So here, the first message is sent for the next hop, which is 210186115254. I think this one is belongs to the TM. So if let's say we want to show the names to understand, actually we can use the okay, let us see, because that one is Linux and this one is Windows. Let us see the trace RT command here. Then don't resolve addresses to host names -d. If we don't want to resolve addresses to the host name, we use -d, maximum hosts, host list. Okay, we cannot do anything with this. We cannot show names of the routers. Then we just keep this result here. So the first router, the next top router, which is connected at my Wi-Fi inside my house to connect internet to the TM network or the Unify network, the next hop is this. This one is belongs to the, for sure, is belongs to the TM. And the next hop is 10, 5, 5, 49, 93, then also 10, 5, 5, 48, 66. Actually, the second and the third are belongs to the same owner. It seems that they are belongs to the same owner. So that's why they are using the same range of IP addresses. So here we can see that the time is from 3 to 5, here from 3 to 5, also from 2 to 5. And the third one is from 4 to 6. The fourth one is from 4 to 8. The fifth node is from 8 to 9. The sixth node is from is almost 6. And the destination is from 6 to 7. We can see here we can analyze here the things. So if let's say now we want to ping this IP address, which is far away from our router, from our PC here, by three hops. Am I right? 3 hops. Then the fourth is the destination. So let us try this. 7, 7, 2, 14, 197, 66. Okay. Let us try this. So here if we trace RT 72 14 197 66, we see how many network device, intermediate device we have. So this is the first one. Definitely it will show 4 exactly similar to this. This one is after 3 nodes. Then it will show 4 records here because the fourth one is the destination IP address. This is the destiny here, and we can see that result is already completed. And that's all about the trace RT. So trace RT is very good to use to analyze the network, to understand the things, to troubleshoot the network, to do diagnosis for your network, to understand how it works, and so on. Okay, so I hope you understand everything about it. And here we can see the last things. Traceroute displays hop by hop transmission results. So this is the first hop, the second hop, and third hop, and everything is based on the intermediate nodes. So the summary here, we have some questions here. Which two Icmp message types are used as a part of successful ping? So if you cannot remember, just go to this table again. Which are the two Icmp message types are used as a part of successful ping? So here the two types are what they call it, 8 and 3. Because 3 is successful and be sorry, all of this, the 3 is unreachable. The 0 and the 8 and also the 5. 5 is successful, but it suggested redirection. Anyway, the result or the answer can be somehow different, depends on how you think about it. So in the slide information here, the result is 8 and 0. Okay, because they consider that the redirection is failure, but in reality, the redirection is not a failure. It's another suggestion for the Traceroute to do redirect. That's all about the Icmp, and I hope everything is clear. If there is any questions, please WhatsApp me on our group, or maybe use the Bootstrap Blast, or maybe send me through the email and so on. I'm available every time, anywhere. You just WhatsApp or send an email, then I will reply you by the answer, inshallah. And I will see you in the next class soon, inshallah. I will try my best to make it maybe by tomorrow, inshallah, if everything is going well. Thank you very much and see you in the next class.